this is who you are by birth, by nature. This is your true self. That's why I meant the true by nature. But you have some experiences, you go through certain things in your life, certain situations, a lot of experiences, and you develop this one. The full self. A lot of people call this the unconscious, and they say the negative part is ego, but I like to call this just the false part. It's an identity which you develop about yourself because of certain experiences which you have in your lives. So the characteristics, I've tried to list it down how you can recognize it. It is really reactive. Instead of responding to any situation, you just react. It likes problems and conflicts because it feeds on that. That is what is giving energy to survive. This is what is giving energy to survive, the ego self, okay? It is always defending and protecting because it knows that it is very weak. Its existence is very weak and it is not real. Because it is self-made and it came from certain experiences which we have in our lives, it knows that it is not real, and so it's always defending and protecting, and it is always under threat. How you can see and how you can know that you are identified with your ego self or you have created a false self is how you are always defending and protecting, and you always see yourself under threat. That's how you can identify it. And one of the most important things which I like to highlight is the easiest way to identify whether you are identified with your ego self or you have developed a false self inside you is you attach your sense of self to everything that you do in your life. What I mean by this is that suppose you are having an exam, you want to crack it, so you tell yourself, if I am able to crack that exam, I'll be this, I'll be safe, I'll be secured, I'll be known, I'll be number one. But what true self says that I am anyways number one without cracking that exam or with that exam. I am always number one. That's what true self says. But ego says, I'll be safe when I have that position. I'll be safe when I have that thing. And when you get that thing, it is never satisfied. When you have that thing, the next thing ego wants is, okay, the next thing, then I'll be safe. Okay, the next thing, then I'll be safe. And you keep doing this and you get tired and you feel so void and empty inside. Because that is what is the work of ego self, okay? And this is the true self, which is true by nature. It is calm, it is abundant by nature, feels whole and complete, while the ego feels complete, whole, satisfied, self-salvation, fulfillment. All of this for the ego self lies in the materialistic thing which we get from the world. But for the true self, it has it. We already have it and it knows the inner strength, the inner power, and it is detached from the material world. And as I said, that you know that you are number one without cracking that exam or with that exam. How your ego self comes to exist, or how you develop this inside you is you develop it by, especially by past traumas. I would like to highlight that, especially when you are hurt, when something happens which shocks your entire body. This includes your nervous system, your mind, your body, your feelings, your heart, which shakes you from inside. That is how you develop a false self. It can be a past trauma, a bad experience, or it's betrayal. And how all of these things comes under the category which is non-acceptance to others. What I mean by that is that suppose I was in a relationship, my partner cheated on me, so that is really hurting, right? It breaks my heart. But at the same time, I'm resisting to what has happened, meaning I'm not able to accept what has happened. Doing that because at first it is like really hurting me, so I can't accept it. Second, I don't want to accept it. I want to, I want to create a reality where I have my partner back. That's why creating non-acceptance of what is gives ego the power. It feels powerful. By hurting and looking down on people. This is a very important point. You never intend to, you never would want to hurt the people close to you or look down on them, but that is what ego does. It feeds on your energy, and you will unconsciously hurt the people around you and the people close to you, because that's what's the true nature of is ego, what is our true nature, how this comes to exist, and how this comes to exist, and what causes this, and how or what is true self and what is egoistic self. Now you know. So even I told you how to identify it, but I'm gonna go deep into that and tell you how you can actually identify if you identify with your full self, if you have developed a full self, and you can actually let go of that. You can heal your past self, you can heal your traumas, your bad experiences, your betrayal, and everything, and you can become a better person. That's what I want to say through this video. That's what I want to teach you. Here are 5 ways in which you can let go of your ego self and take your power back. I won't say these are the straight 5 methods we should follow, but these are the things which have helped me, and I feel that they will help you too. For me personally, I will share my story at the end of this video because it's gonna take a while, take quite a lot of time. So how you can let go of your ego self, how you can let go of this, who is it feeds on you, it eats you. You are dying without actually dying until and unless you are identified with your ego. Notice your triggers. What I mean by triggers, for me, when I was wrapped and bullied in my high school, I was always told about how I looked, how I talked, how I behaved. So my body has developed a system which would always keep me safe. Even when everything was okay, my body used to predict danger, they used to predict threats. So you have to notice your triggers. Nobody else can do it for you, only you have the power. You have to know what things triggers you, what things make you shake from inside. While knowing that it was like a normal conversation, but I got triggered. Why? What is your body trying to tell you? What is that part of you, that version of you trying to tell you? So darling, it's not gonna be easy, but you have to notice your triggers. What are the things which just takes you on? Overpowers you. So you have to notice that first. Taking responsibility. A lot of time, people can come up to you and say that, you know what, this is your behavior, I don't like that. And in that moment, you might feel that every time this happens with me, everybody says that to me, I am really that person, I can never have a good relationship. I am always hurting people, or maybe it's the people. You will not say that I'm always doing this, you will always say that it's the people that they never understand me. I'm never getting the love which I deserve. In that situation, I will say take responsibility. For half of my life, every time someone came up to me and said that, hey, how the way you talk or the way you behave is little rude, can you work on that? Even though at first I was I used to think that, I used to always defend myself, thinking that they are my enemies, they don't want me to win, they are blah blah. But I really want to tell you from experience that people sometimes really love you and they really want to keep you in their life. That's why they come and say to you that maybe you can, and you are not doing this, you're not to blame, your ego is doing this. So you only have to notice that part and let go of it. So take responsibility, don't blame anybody outside. By this, I don't mean that you are oh, I'm the problem. No, you talk to yourself, you give yourself a pat on your back, and you talk to yourself, you talk so much that you arrive there, and you will arrive so beautifully. I trust in you, you can do it. And third step is dropping the victim self. Let's say that, oh, it's always me. I'm working in Catholics. I don't have good friends. It's always me. When you drop this, when you let go of this, the victim self, it's you're already the winner, Because now life is not happening to you, it's responding to you. And I will say that you are I will say that you are a victim. Okay? Not everybody can go through traumas and heal them. Not everybody can have past bad experiences and recover from them. Some people spend their whole life projecting their traumas, their bad experiences onto different people, and they also let their ego feed on themselves. But if you're watching this, and if you really want to change your life yourself, then it's really you have to tell yourself that you are the victim. Everything that happened to you happened for a certain reason. Now it's time that you let go that why protect me, or why certain things happen in a certain way that I have to go through this. Being honest, some days I don't understand myself too. It's like it gets so complex, and I feel like crying because I was so small when all of this happened, and I feel so much that I just end up crying, and that's okay. I'm telling you, but take your power back. If you do that, this goes a little bit down, and this you rise. Like you rise. And pay close attention to what your mind is always saying. This is a game changer. You don't have to, if a thought comes in, oh, they're against me. You move, like, oh, you take it, like, yeah, you were right. No, just be unfiltered. Everything that your mind is saying, this takes, and everything that I'm saying in this video, it takes quite a lot of work and practice. But I promise you, you will arrive, and you will arrive so beautifully. So listen closely to what your mind is saying. Always be present in your body. Always be present in yourself, in your own self, okay? So try to listen to what your body is, like your mind is always saying. I'm sorry. Your mind is always saying, our mind is so beautiful, it's so powerful, it's so creative. But if you let it drive your life, if you let the mind be the master of your fate, then everything just changes. You can be having a good party and your mind might just say, oh, look at that dress. Oh, everybody's looking so pretty, but it's me, I'm not looking good. And then you go again, yeah, maybe I'm the other one. Don't listen to it. Pay close attention to what it's saying. When I say pay close attention and not get identified with it, like just listen, non-judgmentally. Just listen. Do not interpret. Just listen. And there will come a day where you will smile listening to the voice in your head because you know it's not true and your mind is just making up stories. And last but not least, give yourself some love. I'll be honest, I'm only 19 and everything that I've shared and said in this video is coming from my own experience and that's what I've learned. And I saw somebody on social media crying because of what they were going through, and I thought that maybe I could share my experience and it could help somebody. So I'm here. Give yourself love. Please, please, please. This is the most important point of it all. The ego always says that I'm never loved. People are against me. The world is against me. I told you it thinks itself as separate from the world. We say that we can do it alone, I can do it alone. That is different thing. The ego thinks, I am tough, I can do it alone. It sees itself as something separate from the entire being, the entire universe. But that's not true. You are one, we are one. If I bleed, you bleed. That's the right thing. We are one, we are togetherness, but the ego will separate you from the entire world. It will make you see everybody around you as enemies. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you that, please give yourself some love. Be very gentle with yourself entire process and talk to yourself, pat yourself, love yourself, forgive, make it a default system in your life, forgiving yourself, make it a default. Make it a default to talk to yourself with love, with kindness, with gentleness, okay? And you'll be so amazing. This was everything that you wanted to share, and yeah. As I said, I'll be sharing my story at the end of the video. So my story is that I was only 14 when my seniors started partying and bullying me in my high school. I was far from my home. I was away from my mom and they were just bullying me every single day for the way I behaved. But as I grew up, I realized that they were just projecting their insecurities, their problems onto me, and it was really never about me. But you know what, because I was so small, when you cannot let life pass through you, like something happens and your body gets shocked by the event, and it is like something very not normal which you predicted, so you are stuck with that situation, right? And around that whole experience, your body develops a system which is always protecting you only in your sense, but at the same time it is making you separate from this world. In a way, I would say that it is like you are going, you are moving very you are distancing yourself from everybody that you love. So for me, they used to bully me every single day, and as I grew grew up, I developed a defense system that everybody is against me. That if I don't like speak back, if I'm not rude to them, if I don't, like fight, then I'll have to go through that shit again. That's what my false self was, and I always used to be on guard. That's why my body was always on guard. What if someone does that? What if someone does this? Oh, will be hurt again. Oh my god, no, not that shit again. So I was always on guard, and I always overprotected, overthought, overstimulated, and because of all of that, it led me to more hurt, to more victimizing, to more and more downfall. But recently, I was sitting in my room and something happened, and I started crying and I journaled everything. And people can blame you, but your own mom cannot blame you, right? So my mom told me one day that I love you so much, but why do you behave like that some days? Like, it's like you are not that person anymore. You just start speaking things like you get rude and you behave in a different manner. And I told her, I'm so sorry, I'll try to improve. And all of my life, I thought that I have anger issues. That's why I behave like that. But I came to realize that there was a false self inside me which was driving me because of everything that I went through. And the realization has changed a lot of things in my life. And ever since, I won't say that I'm like, oh, give me a little prize, I've healed, but it's been beautiful. At least I'm not hurting anybody. And when you hurt people, when you're rude to them, this ego stuff which I told you, it intensifies you, like it increases, it feels powerful. Because it's so weak, right? It's a false self, so it feeds on those things and it feels powerful. That was my story. And after all of this, I even had to go through a big breakup when I was 15 or 16. And that was my first love, and I had to go through that breakup, so it really, really hit me. And again, I was really small, 14, then 16. And so all of this just made track of events which just led me to where I was. And it was not easy. It was not at all easy. Maybe if I talk for 1 minute more, I'll start crying. But I want to say that you can do it. Anything that you're going to do, let it be this. That you are the victor of your life. That don't feel so powerless. You are so powerful. I don't want to say that if I can do it, you can do it, because you can do it anyways. It's not about me. You can always arrive, and you arrive so beautifully, It's so sad that so many things happen to us, like what bad or what wrong did we do to deserve the bad things. But I want to tell you that it happened with you because God planned something for you. Because you were meant to take that lesson and grow up very beautifully so that you can help others, so that you can become a better person because of all of that. Don't think that, it happened to you. It happened for you, sweetie. It's time you